Yo, 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 Big Kish back up in here. Y'all remember I said with Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion situation, it's not about them. It's bigger than them. Check this out. He got a haircut today, y'all. He got a haircut today, y'all. The Lunchable Man got a haircut today. He got a haircut today. We about to get into it. Already knew. Look, this situation is so messy. It ain't got nothing to do with them. This got everything to do with like politics, the big wigs, everybody that. Listen, bro. When Tory Lanez said he cracked the code and he got away for these artists to make real money and get up out of their deal, they didn't like that, y'all. They didn't like that. Now, he gonna go over the nooks and the crannies of the situation, and we gonna be reacting to it as we go. Before we get to that, y'all make sure y'all pick y'all up a copy of Street Dad, Geek Dad, Avoiding the Manufactured Mindset, written by me, Big Kish. The link will be in the description. I appreciate y'all a whole lot, and let's get to that 1,000 likes, y'all. Come on. We need y'all to get to that 1,000 likes. Come on, hit that thumb, hit that thumb, hit that thumb, hit that Lunchable Man thumb. Hit the thumb. Hey, look, y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
This Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation that we've been covering for the last year and a half, it's scary. And it gets scarier the more you dig through the rabbit hole, because the deeper you go, the quicker you realize this is much bigger than Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. There's a lot more characters at play here who participated in a railroading of Tory Lanez. And they didn't participate in a railroading of Tory Lanez because they had this infinity for Megan Thee Stallion or they care for Megan Thee Stallion. As far as I'm concerned, Megan Thee Stallion was also used as a pawn in this situation.
See?
This is much deeper.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Now, everybody online arguing with each other, talking about some Team Meg and Team Tory and all that. Listen, man. Listen, man. We got to get together as a unit. We need to get together as a unit and see what's going on behind these closed doors. Let's get it.
Than celebrity culture. This goes to politics. See, as we dig deeper and we learn more about the situation, new characters begin to get introduced, like George Gascon, the district attorney for Los Angeles, who just lost his re-election.
We heard, that possibly he could be exonerated here. I want you to give my audience what they don't know and your analysis of actually what went down.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. And I got to tell you, I've been involved in looking into this case for almost about 6 months exactly now. It was brought to me by a board member, Diana London, with the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety, who regularly says she believed Tory Lanez was innocent. And as I looked through the case and I noticed a number of irregularities.
Stop looking at his head, y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with his head. Just listen to what he's saying. Stop staring at his head. Listen to what he's saying. Listen, y'all.
Irregularities in the case, I began to come to that same conclusion that this was an innocent person. Let me take you back to the very beginning. First and foremost, we got a George Soros-funded prosecutor named George Gascon who was prosecuting this case. He was, at the time, coming off of his second recall attempt. He was in severe trouble as he had lost support in numerous demographics, key demographics to his electoral success, including Black women. And he needed to do whatever he...
Wow. Do this sound like something to y'all? Do this sound like something to y'all? Let me remind y'all. We need the Black vote. So let me carry some hot sauce in my pocketbook. Do that sound like to y'all? What do that sound like to y'all? What do that sound like to? We need the Black vote. Well, let me get on stage with this rapper and let me get with Juvenile and drop it like it's hot and all. What do this sound like? What do this sound like? Let me get Snoop Dogg and them to perform it for because I'm losing the Black vote. What do this sound like, y'all? He said he was losing Black sisters' votes. Check it out. Matter of fact, let's get it.
He could to possibly win this election. I believe if Jesus Christ was Tory Lanez's attorney, Tory Lanez would have still lost his case no matter what.
When Gascon first got elected, a lot of his progressive policies sounded great in theory, and it sounded like something that the people of LA wanted, like zero bail policy for like 95% of crimes until people realized that their perpetrators were being released, or, like minors not being charged in adult courts until people realized that people were committing murders intentionally and sending 16 and 15-year-olds to commit these murders intentionally, knowing that those 16-year-olds will be released by 25. So people were killing people's brothers and fathers and sisters and being released in 9 years. And they felt like this was severely unfair. So they turned on Gascon, right? And when Gascon tried to get reelected, he realized fairly quickly, they not messing with me, bro. Like, these people are not feeling me no more. It got so bad for Gascon, they were literally trying to recall him and get him out of here. They wanted him gone. And he was public enemy number one for a lot of conservatives, and they would use him as the greatest examples of the failures of progressive policies in these urban cities. And people will look at Los Angeles and the crime rates and how unsafe the streets were, and they will blame it all on Gascon. Gascon understood this. He understood the public backlash coming from Twitter, understood the narrative, and he understood he was losing supporters. So him doing this, him going full progressive mode, doing things in his Tory Lanez case that he didn't do for other cases to try to win over the hearts of rap fans, of black women who support Megan Thee Stallion.
And this work, I told you, it's always a problem. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% true. All I'm saying is put your thinking caps on, y'all. Stop getting ready to just be arguing with everybody online. Put your thinking caps on. Understand, there are evil powers that they hands like this. And guess who up the other end of the string? People running around arguing with each other. I'm telling you, listen, it's always some evil power working. We gotta stick together, y'all. We gotta stick together. Understand. Check this out. We can't take stuff like this off the table. Listen.
To send a message, that's not too far-fetched, to be honest. At first, I probably thought it was. But now, as I look deep, that's not too far-fetched, bro.
Tory's attorneys have alleged prosecutorial misconduct, suppressing of evidence, exculpatory evidence being withheld. And I believe them based on the facts. But why is it that they never tested her DNA onto the gun? You knew that she had gunpowder on her hand. They found that out. Why didn't they test that? Why is it that they added this enhancement to his case? Now, enhancements are used for violent gang members, people with a history of brutal crime. George Gascon has had numerous people who have had brutal crimes that he didn't recommend an enhancement. One by the name of Raymond Danger Gonzalez, who murdered, premeditated 2 individuals, including a teenager, and he stole their money. No recommendation for enhancements from George Gascon. Or the General Hospital actor Johnny Wagner. He was brutally murdered. No recommendation for enhancements. So this led me to believe instantly that George Gascon had put on a front. He wanted to pretend to be tough on crime so he could have a silver bullet for his next election because he had a black woman that he can say that he protected. And it's insane that unfairness is pushing through our justice system, but we've seen this with numerous cases with George Gascon. And that's why the Caldwell Institute got involved in this case, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
The playbook that Gascon tried to run isn't a new playbook. It's actually a pretty effective playbook. Gascon was just so bad and did too much damage that it was too late for him. It didn't work.
But it shouldn't be no play because you're dealing with people's lives right here. You dealing with people's lives. This is crazy, man.
But the playbook is ran in the presidential election almost every 4 years. Think about it, bruh. Think about it. How come the police shooting of black men aren't publicized until it's election year? Think about it for a second, bruh. Think about all the instances.
Somebody do the research and the knowledge on that. Is that true? Do the knowledge. Let's do the knowledge on that.
Instances of police shootings that come to your mind immediately. How come those incidents only happen? Well, they happen frequently, but they only get publicized and blasted to the masses in terms of CNN, Fox News, every news outlet, social media, marching, protesting, looting. All the chaos happens during the election year. That's because you know what happens? Yo, some of that money gets thrown out to these media companies, gets marketed. They push the money into spreading and publicizing the police shooting because they want to fearmonger. They want to create.
If you're mature enough to get the message and not care about the message, it's about the message, y'all. We got to do our knowledge. Understand that there are evil powers working amongst us. Listen, y'all, check it out. Check it out.
This illusion that they're about to step in and save you from this big bad monster. Then once they get elected, the big bad monster that you thought was prevalent and a really big deal, you come to find out, okay, those are fringe cases. Those cases probably happen once in 1,000.
It's just like when they go somewhere else and they create a problem. They say, well, this country is doing this. They're doing that. They're doing this. Accuse them of doing something, but really, we don't see it because we ain't over there. But we see it on the news. You know what I'm saying? We see certain things on the news. Whatever they put on the, yeah, they doing this, they doing that. Just to give them an excuse to go do something to them. Understand, these are old tactics. These are old tactics that they use, but they use them locally as well. And this sounds like a local situation. Check it out, y'all.
Like, bro, in your life, you'll probably never experience that. But you go 4 years without really thinking about it. And then right when the election year comes again, boom, you got another big story that's everywhere. And now they want to fearmonger you again. That's what George Gascon tried to do. After years of allowing murderers to go free, allowing robbers and looters to come out without any bond, he wanted to be harder on Tory Lanez than literal murderers. He wanted to give Tory Lanez enhancements that he didn't give to actually people who killed people.
Now, let's just say that this is true, right? It's working. It's working. It's working. All you see is people online up in arms. I'm Team Nick. I'm Team Meg. I'm Team Tory. And we're a team. And listen, Meg or Tory don't care about none of us. Understand what's going on, y'all. We got to start waking up. We can no longer be, we can never be under the devil's puppet hands. We got to stop this. We got to stop it. Check it out.
Even if you believe that Tory Lanez is guilty, think about it. Do you think it's fair that Tory Lanez would get a gun enhancement when people who have actually killed people don't? It doesn't make sense, right? And I'm not talking about people already serving life. I'm talking about people who have literally killed somebody and come home in like 10 years. At this point, it's not if Tory Lanez is going to get released, it's when is Tory Lanez going to get released. Because the justice system is going to prevail, bruh. This level of corruptness has to be corrected.
She with Trump. She with Trump. So, man, I'm telling you, man, something's corrupt. Something's corrupt, y'all. Something corrupt. We can't just exclude these type of things off the table.
For the sake of our Constitution. Now, Tory Lanez's father and Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, who is also really close friends with Trump, has been campaigning on behalf of Tory Lanez. And you know this situation is bad. You know it's really corrupt. When you have people who are on the opposite side of things, who usually don't agree when they start agreeing on things. When you have Piers Morgan calling Megan Thee Stallion inconsistent and a liar, you know you have a problem on your hands here, bruh. Now, Anna Paulina's seen Trump yesterday. I'm sure she talked to Trump about this.
Seen him
now,
yesterday.
She's calling on Governor Newsom to pardon Tory Lanez. But it don't even have to be a full-on pardon. All they literally have to do is get rid of the gun enhancement. The gun enhancement is why Tory Lanez is currently in jail right now. Without the gun enhancement, Tory Lanez will be out of jail right now. He will be, he'll be out. Like, it'll be time served. You take away the gun enhancement and Tory Lanez has served enough time. He qualified for that 85%. He'll be out right now. So this is not a situation of, free Tory Lanez because, pardon him, he's 100% innocent. Okay, cool. All right. But this is a situation of take away the gun enhancement that was very unusual and don't happen to a lot of people under Gascon. Tory Lanez's father and Congresswoman Luna was on Piers Morgan today. And while on Piers Morgan, they gave such a compelling argument that even Piers Morgan had to call out Megan Thee Stallion for being inconsistent and lying.
I don't think you need to be a conspiracy theorist, Representative Luna, to see there's a lot of inconsistency going on here. She denied to Gayle King that there was any relationship with Tory. She then admits that there had been, that she lied. She doesn't admit to lying.
And one thing, we all need fathers like Tory Lanez's father, man. We need fathers like this, man. He did not quit. He didn't. He's still going in. You know what I'm saying?
About the circumstances of the shooting, but certainly this goes to the heart of her veracity.
That's bad news for Megan Thee Stallion altogether. When you have Piers Morgan on a platform this big calling you a liar and claiming that your past statements of you lying can actually be used to determine the veracity of your overall statements on Tory Lanez, that's bad. Now, Tory Lanez's father actually laid out a pretty solid case for Tory Lanez. On his platform, he actually spoke to the corruptness of what took place to Tory Lanez at trial. I was there when Sean Kelly was supposed to testify. Sean Kelly was the defense witness. Tory Lanez and them called Sean Kelly to the witness stand because Sean Kelly gave a statement to the police testifying that he seen a woman fire the gun. When Sean Kelly got to that office, man, the prosecutors brought him upstairs. And by the time Sean Kelly came back downstairs to testify, his story has completely changed. And a lot of us sat there with our mouths open like, what?
Oh.
Sean Kelly's statement got so bad and it was so contradicting to what he told the police that Tory Lanez's team filed or they petitioned to treat Sean Kelly as a hostile witness. That's when your witness turns against you. So now you got to treat him as if it's a cross-examination. And that's what they did. Sean Kelly had this entire story he already gave where he saw a woman shoot. Then when he hopped on the stand, he said he saw a woman shoot and a man shoot.
Walking through this.
That sound like somebody was paid. That sound like somebody was paid off. But like he said in the beginning, this ain't got nothing to do with Tory or Megan. This joint, look. If this wasn't going on, if he had to go through his votes, the guy, whatever, everybody probably would be out. Everybody probably be out. This is wild, y'all.
I'll never forget the day when we're sitting outside of the courtroom getting ready for court to reconvene. And imagine the only independent witness, which should have been the only objective witness in this case, was a gentleman by the name of Sean Kelly. Interestingly enough, the only person that would be able to have an unbiased viewpoint of what actually happened. Imagine that the prosecution did not want to call that witness. Why? This is the only independent witness, but yet you don't want to call this person because obviously his bird's eye view will not support what you want the narrative to be. And so when we sat outside, my wife and I, we saw this gentleman come in and we sat down and it was identified for us that, oh, this is Mr. Sean Kelly. He's sitting across from us on the other side of the hallway. And as we sat there, the prosecution came out, one of their detectives or investigators rather, and one of the prosecutors, they took this gentleman, they went upstairs, I believe it was to the 14th floor at that time. By the time this man came down, the witness they did not want to call, this man came down and his testimony became so embellished with other nonsense that people who saw it just looked at it and said, this is crazy.
I was there, and I can speak for the temperature.
He was at the joint. He was at the joint. Matter of fact, somebody in the comment section told me they was there too. But that's that lady right there. She's adamant about what she's doing. I'm telling you, she not gonna quit. Just like the father.
The room, people were shocked and stunned. It became a battle. It became very hostile very quickly. The defense called the witness, and the witness turned against them after a meeting with the prosecutors minutes before he was called. I'm saying that's crazy, that's foul. And regardless of if you think Tory Lanez is guilty or not, you should look at that and say, that's crazy, bruh. How is this allowed? How? How?
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not guilty. I'm not saying he's guilty. All I'm saying is let's put on our thinking caps and let's look at other things as well. We can't just be ignoring stuff. If we always have the mindset of ignoring whatever or just going for whatever they put in front of our eyes, we're going to always be in the trick bag. We're going to always be in the trick. They're going to always be able to sow discourse between the two of us, men and women. Bro, it's 2025. We can't keep letting them get away with these little tricks. Come on, man. These little tricks. We can't be letting it slide like that.
Now, Tory Lanez's father also laid out a case in terms of the DNA, in terms of, the gun fragments that weren't found, and he spelled this out pretty perfectly.
Just one last question, because you made me think of this. But if your son was not responsible for Megan Thee Stallion being shot, we do know that indisputably she was shot. Who shot her?
First of all, the whole idea of her being shot is a speculation. That's a speculation. It's to this point has not been proven that she was even shot. That in all of this, how can you have a situation where in pretrial, the police, LAPD, says that the bullet fragments they had collected from the hospital just mysteriously vanishes. It goes missing. I would think
they said the fragments went missing.
That evidence is something that is protected in any police department, but they just mysteriously go missing. So there's no bullet fragments to be presented at trial. You have a situation where a gun is shot, and the gun, which is supposed to be your main piece of evidence, does not even show up at court, but some picture of a weapon that resembles this is the type of weapon they say that was used. The weapon does not show up at court. There is absolutely no, we hear this point of 0.1% of his DNA on the gun. Do you know what that actually means when you investigate it? That over 1.5 billion black people on the planet could have been their DNA.
I had enough, man. This is wild. We got to put on our thinking caps, y'all. I want to see how this plays out, and I'm gonna keep on. I'm gonna keep on bringing y'all the news of what's going on with this. Whatever I hear about it, because this is wild. This is crazy. He did all of this for some votes because he was losing in the black females department, and he let this slide. Come on, man. We gotta do the knowledge on this, y'all. But I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Big Kish signing out. I'm going, y'all.